This place.
Yeah, it's kind of a mess, but they've been like it needs vacuumed. They've been doing some kind of work in here.
Oh, Randy's people?
Yeah, but that Bobby guy,
Uh-huh.
I figured out like he's been painting. Did you notice that?
Like it smells like something's been cleaning.
Well, yeah, I did these. Oh my God.
Hmm. It's not locked up going up there, is it? It's not locked going upstairs, is it? I mean, you
I
gotta
don't
use,
think so.
I mean, better use the restroom up there.
Yeah, I think they disconnect whatever they're doing, they disconnected the Zoom camera. So
Oh my,
it's just gonna be a little whatever. I've got it over here. So we'll see. Waiting for Dan to get logged in.
okay.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be fine.
It's a cold day, but you know. Thanks for this. Am I wrong? I thought we voted on the survey at the last meeting. Mm,
Um,
I could be wrong, I guess, in what capacity I thought we voted on it.
um, let me pull it up real quick.
Maybe it was like a limited vote to approve and disseminate.
Um, they were sending back to Wallace Montgomery some additions and notes and changes to. What is that? Oh. So the motion was to speak with consultant and accept the survey with certifications.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, where am I today?
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, you're here. You're by me.
Okay, I'll behave. Maybe not.
Please. No one feels that. Hey,
Oh, I want to talk to you.
who's that? No, right. Don't believe that. Are they?
No, I need to talk to you. Where can I get a Snow Hill tin? I know we have given it out in the past.
Whichever.
Let me check and see if we got some.
I don't know.
I have it myself.
I don't need it.
Okay.
I like that. Yeah,
Well,
Wherever.
you need much more than I do. Let me see if I can find some.
I
This is
want
probably
to
a
get
good sign.
Okay.
the
I
money.
wouldn't be sitting up
Or
there.
put it in
Kind of
on the
You're
red
Dan.
line.
his proxy.
Okay.
Today.
That works.
So
Michael let me know last minute that he's unable to make
What do
it,
you
so
need?
it'll just be me.
When do you? need it?
But we'll probably reach, I know Dan's out all week, right?
Okay, let me see what I can come
Okay.
up with.
So we'll reach out and we'll catch up with him next week.
They will be there.
Well, he is supposed to be joining.
Like a little lapel pin, my Ryan's Club pins that I wear.
We'll see.
I'll be giving them. Sorry,
Yeah,
apartments to them.
And it's how
Maybe
many
we got something for Randy.
technology staff.
I don't think they-
Yeah. We got our camera, we got our screen.
Mom,
When it comes to females, but a lot of times.
I am not that person either. My favorite is just to like set up the phone on speakerphone. But I let all my tech guys do all the other stuff.
But it's my wife.
So no worries.
She's really upset that they're not coming anywhere near us.
they're coming to Annapolis.
And you're, if you.
She knows.
Oh, no, it's fine.
I know.
I don't think she's got that much motivation these days.
I want to walk
Unless she's
from the
trying to-
dam into the.
Need to find
Capitol
more-
building.
more with-
To be.
Excuse me. Ouch. We just had to order a whole nother load of firewood beyond what we knew.
I can't believe how little snow you guys got.
Oh, you have no idea.
Middletown.
I think
Delaware.
it's
We got every bit of 16 inches.
God.
Yeah. And it hasn't gone anywhere. I'm so tired of looking.
Where?
It's so cold. Up in Middletown. That's where I drove down from. So it's just, it won't go away because it's so cold. It's supposed to warm up this week. I hope so. I hope so. Well, ours melted a good bit last week. It's like if it would just melt, it'd be fine. Like if
Yeah.
something would change, like if it at least looked like it was going away, it'd be great. But it's just not. Not even a little bit.
Well, we need to. That all happens. We need to, so we had the. Heating on a lot lately.
No, my pipes froze,
No.
but it was just
There she is.
Alright, turn you around.
Has anybody heard from, I don't know their numbers.
They're, coming.
You should.
I'm not.
What can you see?
Out of 500.
There he is.
Hi, Dan.
Hey, Dan.
Hi there.
Well,
Let's get that in.
How's the conference?
Very good. It's a good refresher course in terms of floodplain management.
that sounds exciting.
Don't have any of that.
It's weird. It says that you're muted.
But I thought, yeah.
Yeah, you can hear us, right?
Yeah, we're not gonna be allowed to sit next to each other again. There we go.
You might have to sit here because they're cutting up down there. We need to.
Well, I need to make
Sorry.
They're gonna not look for and I sit together.
Yeah.
And
Too much
then
data.
they brought me cookies. So there.
You didn't bring cookies?
No, the tenants brought them to me. For farmer tenants. Would you rather have the tenants?
But you didn't bring them here.
Or would you rather have the cookies?
Cookies, not tenants.
I figured.
I just want cookies.
I figured.
These are gonna be up higher.
So refresh my memory down.
These are some Dr.
first.
Turnbull.
Not a word.
We're all here. So it
It's
really,
7 o'clock.
so we can all three vote.
Yeah.
I had mixed up somewhere. Because it was the next time. Was it the next time?
Then,
You weren't here.
right,
That's what it was. Okay.
yeah.
Oh. So this should just be a rubber stamp.
Yep.
We're not getting too
That's
nasty.
turned
Yeah.
into.
Well, beautiful.
Oh. Should we want to wait a few more? Or what's your pleasure?
Well, I say let's have that.
Okay.
Let's have at it.
All right. You ready?
Did anybody hear from Kadeem? Was he?
Yeah, he'll come sign. Has anybody tried the song? Yeah, minimum.
I just have email, unless it's in
Yeah, I
his
don't.
email.
Have anything. No
I
problem.
don't have his number.
Dan, did you hear from Dr. Turnbull?
I'm sorry, I could barely hear you. What?
Oh,
Did you hear from Dr. Turnbull?
I have not, no.
Okay.
hi, Dan. Didn't even
Hi.
realize you were here.
Wouldn't miss it for the world, right?
I hear you. Do you want to get started?
Professor time.
Okay.
He's getting 2 minutes.
2 minutes. I think it was 15 minutes then you leave class, right?
That's what it is, but not for here.
Okay, it worked.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. He is on professor time.
All right, everyone, let's get started. Welcome to our February 9th work session. The agenda's in front of us here. We have all members present. Just, I guess for transparency for the public too, everyone can see the agenda, but in our last meeting, we did allocate 2 minutes for public comment. So we'll get to that at the end of the agenda, but we did want to remind everybody, if you haven't already done so, there's a sign-up sheet in the back of the room. So our first order of business for this evening is to pass our December 1st minutes. Do I have a motion to pass those minutes?
I'll make the motion to pass the December 1st minutes.
Is there a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So it would be 3. Because you were out that day. All right, so our next agenda item C. We're gonna lean on our friends from Wallace and Montgomery to walk us through, and Dan, you too chime in, the results of the test run of survey questionnaire. The revised survey. Thank you for adding, Dan, thank you as well. Thank you for adding in our comments from our last meeting. So
Totally. Very glad to have you.
go ahead and take it away.
So if I can, what I'm gonna do is, also, hi, Dan. I'm going to take just a little bit of a step back for you guys. Unfortunately, I couldn't be here last week, so I'm not sure how in depth you guys got into conversation with the workshop materials, or whether you did or didn't. But I just kind of want to take a step back and revisit the process that we're going to go through for this. I know it's been a little while since we initially kind of kicked things off, and there's a lot that I'm starting to throw at you. So I just kind of want to make sure everyone's kind of seeing the whole vision. So our schedule is, we're on track. We're actually a little bit ahead of schedule. You guys are supposed to be getting the introduction chapter on the 23rd, but you've already seen it in very, very draft form. So keep in mind, as we're moving through these early chapters, these are just drafts. We're just starting to pull things together to show you formatting, color scheme, sort of the template we had in mind. Keep in mind, we haven't done public outreach yet. We haven't had any workshops yet. So it's going to feel a little bit bare in the beginning. We need that public outreach. We need input from you. And also, when you see these drafts, please know that this is your plan. This isn't us writing it for you. This is us pulling together some bare bones things, pulling things from the 2010 plan that, maybe Dan mentioned, or you guys may mention in the future. Hey, we really liked this element. We liked this theme, style, whatever it may be. We'll pull it in, but we are presenting this material to you for you to comment on. So if you read it and you hate it, tell me. If you read it and you feel like something's missing, tell us. Like, we want your feedback. I can't stress that enough. And I know it sounds very cliche as I'm sitting here saying those kinds of things, but I mean it. This is just us pulling information, putting it into a format, and putting it in front of you until we have actual public outreach data that I can start analyzing and putting in. This is literally just us kind of pulling information for you, putting it in a format, and getting us started. So these first couple chapters, like the introduction, land use, housing, these are all pretty typical. It's going to be heavy on data. So I heard that you two like data, so we will definitely like some input there. So just keep all that in mind. I never want it to feel like, we're being given this is what we're stuck with. That's not what this is. This is just templates. So as you, Dan, did you guys get the first draft chapter? I think he said he had emailed it to you guys. Okay.
Yes.
So as you're looking at that, I want you to critique every inch of it. If you don't like the color scheme, if you don't like the format, if you don't like the font, just tell me. Let us know, and we can take that back to the team and we will revisit things. We try to be heavy on graphics, try to be heavy on readability, try to make sure that it is understandable to anyone reading it. I know it's easy to get into the weeds with a lot of data as we get moving towards some of these bigger, heavier hitter chapters. But we do want to make sure that anyone that picks it up can read it and understand where Snow Hill is going. It should be something that everyone feels invested in. Everyone feels like they can understand. Everyone feels like they can, pick up, turn to a chapter and say, oh, okay, that's what their vision is for housing. That's why, at this meeting, they're talking about this development because we planned it back then. So that's my little 5-second speech before we get into more of some other things. But I just wanted to make sure that everyone felt like they understood where we're headed, why we're doing things the way that we're doing them, why you're getting draft chapters already, even though we haven't done public outreach. It's just to start pulling information in. This isn't a final. This is just, hey, here's what we were thinking format wise. What do you guys think? So with that being said, we did draft the survey.
Question.
Yes.
I'm guessing along the way, just like we're writing a research paper, we can always come back to the introduction and tweak and change the
And
vision.
that's what's
And
gonna
the
keep
vision might
happening,
evolve
and I'm glad
too.
you said that, because that's what's gonna keep happening.
Mhm.
It's never gonna be, hey, we drafted chapter 1, done.
Mhm.
That doesn't even make sense. I mean, we'll get public feedback that might change something that you guys had in your vision. You might have a public workshop where people all voice opinions and you guys might not have even thought of it. And you'd be like, wow, like I did not realize that was something that was so important to our residents, to our stakeholders. Let's go back to that vision. Let's revise that. Let's make sure that, in the next 10, 20 years, we're keeping that in mind. So that's the beautiful thing. You'll always get these in Word versions for you to do track changes, and they'll stay in Word until the very end. Because you want to be able to go back. You want to be able to implement things back in. So I'm glad that you asked that. Yes, it's a working document until we submit it to MDP for review. And then when it gets adopted, then it's a final document, but you guys can always obviously go back and amend it through a formal process. But yeah, it's never chapter 1, you guys gave comments, it's done, no more. That's not how it's not how we go. It's just not gonna work that way. So we took all your comments for the survey, put them into SurveyMonkey, did a little test run just with, and I'm not actually sure who among the staff did a test run for clickability. So we did that, and I brought this, and please forgive the print quality because my printer in Newark is horrible. Anything that we print for you will never look like this. I'll print it somewhere else. But I brought this as an example, and I'll pass it down for you guys, just as sort of the output that we would get from SurveyMonkey. And as this survey evolves and we make it live, obviously this will be much more in depth. So SurveyMonkey will spit this out for us, and it will analyze it for us, and it will give you all percentages, and it will sort of create graphs for you so that you don't have to read line by line, but it will also pull any comments. So any of the fillable fields in the survey, you'll be able to read as well. But then further down the line, depending on what you'd like to post on your website or make available to the public, or typically we include them as an appendix at the end in the plan, we will always redact any personal information. So when we do put this live, and there was a comment that Dan forwarded to me, and forgive me because I did not see who the comment was from, but somebody that did the test run. So this, once we make it live, will have a field, and it will say name, email address, address. That will always stay private. It will be personal information that we would never publish. But we ask for that information for a couple reasons. One, because if we get email addresses, we can include residents, stakeholders, whoever it may be, in email blasts, updates. We can make sure that they're getting e-blast graphics of when the next meetings are, when the workshops are. So we like to collect that information. We also just like to see who's taking the survey and whether they live here or not, because it's kind of important if you're getting a lot of complaints from somebody that lives in, up in Millsboro, like you're okay, well, we're going to just set that one aside because they don't actually live here. So we will update that survey with that information. But that would be the only other change that we would make at this point in time. So the plan is for that to go live, I believe on the 16th. So it'll be on Monday. We keep that open for 30 days. I know I don't think it's necessarily on the agenda, but we do need to start thinking about when you would like to do a public workshop, and whether public outreach is really important. So I'd like to do more than one opportunity, whether that be we show up at a library with a table, and I can have printed or electronic devices where people can take the survey. But in that 30-day window, we like to try to have some sort of public outreach opportunity just to help garner responses. So we can talk about that, or you guys can talk about that among yourselves if you want. I can, talk to Dan and follow up with him. And we can come up with a time or something. But with the survey, that is a really great tool to get information. People are going to write in comments much more freely than they're going to tell you to your face what they're thinking, what their concerns are. And a lot of the questions that you guys added are great. And they really ask deeper questions and try to get concerns out of people. So the more we can get responses on that, the better. So once that goes live, I will make sure that that link gets emailed to all of you. So if you guys have, different distribution lists, or just people that churches, people in your churches, your professor. So, anyone that school wise, if it's around this area, please feel free to distribute it. Everybody, friends, neighbors, as many people as you can think of within Snow Hill that we can distribute the survey to, the better, because that's where you're going to get a lot of information. Specifically now, when we don't have a lot of public outreach happening outside because of the weather, this is a great tool to get that kick started and to be able to give you guys information to start really digesting and hearing concerns and things that you guys can start working with. So that's my speech about the survey, but I want to see if anybody had questions, concerns about the survey at all.
Do we know what the average response time is?
It will tell me that. It was like, I want to say like an average of 3 minutes, but that was staff that was taking it. He only distributed it to a very small group just to make sure things were clickable, all that. So typically it's about that. Nobody wrote any answers in on there. So it just depends on how much time people take to write. So it varies. If you are just kind of clicking through answering the questions, it shouldn't take any more than 3 to 5 minutes, maybe.
In your experience with tablets or using iPads versus someone on a phone, do you see the phone being a deterrent? Does it frustrate people sometimes when I take a survey?
It depends on how tech savvy you are. I mean, it's a great platform and we can generate QR codes as well, because just the fact of the matter is everybody has their phone at all times. So even if, in town hall, you wanted to have a sign and there's a QR code and anybody who stops in could scan it. It is very easy on your phone. Maybe not so much, I'm just gonna be honest, for typing in any answers, that could be frustrating. It's gonna be a lot easier on a computer. And for people who may not be tech savvy, we have it in a printable version as well. We can absolutely leave some wherever. We've done it in, the libraries, community centers, town halls, and people can write in answers and either drop it back off to you and I can come collect it, however they want to do it. But we want to make it as available as possible. We can put it in different languages if that's what's needed, whatever we need to do. I've sat with people and had them dictate kind of their thoughts, and I've written it down for them. We want it to be accessible to anybody that feels like they would like to share their thoughts, and that's important. So,
How do you feel that people will be answering questions where they have to write in the answer rather than just click?
It depends on how invested they are. So we see both. There are people who will not give any write-in answers and will only go through and just click the boxes. And that's okay, because at least we got that information. There are other people who will tell you their entire life story in the opportunity of a 300-character box. And they'll do it on every question. And you want those too. So we get both. The more that people are invested in the survey and understand what the purpose of the survey is, which is really I guess there were a couple other surveys that recently have been done. So in town for various reasons, other organizations. So you do worry about survey fatigue. So we really would like to make sure that we're getting the buy-in for this one. This one isn't, specific to any one organization or cause. This is for the town. This is for your town's future. This is for,
He's back.
Could I add a question as a staff employee or comment?
Mr. Chair, I think, are you working in your capacity on the comp plan? Have you been as the town, in your capacity with the town, have you worked on the comp plan?
No, not really.
Is it as part of your like employment with the town?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I-
Feel free to
go
say
ahead.
no.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think there's, I'm the economic development manager for town, and we're really keen to get full representation, because what happens in economic development affects everyone in town, and so we really want to know what everyone in town thinks about, well, we want them to be responsive to the survey. And one
Yes.
like question that just I don't have clarity on is the methodology. Are you like, is this, I hear different things being discussed, but is there a plan? Is there going to be, paper and tablets and QR codes? Are all of these things on the table? And then how are you going to assure that there isn't duplication of data?
So everything is on the table. We find that an approach using all of those different platforms gets you better responses. So we always want to be open to someone needing to take a paper survey. SurveyMonkey will not let someone take a survey twice from the same device. It will track and it will know. Also, when we update this is going to require name, email, etc.
Mhm.
So if someone were to, if someone really wanted to take the time and put in multiple, what we can do is track that.
Mhm.
So if we happen to see the same, we're going to track that. We'll notice that it'll spit out an Excel spreadsheet, and I can file and sort and make sure there aren't duplicates.
Mhm.
In my experience, we have never had somebody go in twice. We have had people follow up with additional emails with a lot more comments, which is great.
Mhm.
But we've never had someone do it twice. And then typically also just with the broad methodology, just to hit that topic while we're there. So anyone that does decide to, the address is always optional, name and email is not. Sorry, the address is not always optional. Keeping it public is optional. We don't keep that public for anyone who isn't on the planning commission or staff. I guess your staff, so you would get to see it. It is only going to be viewable by staff and the planning commission. We will take those addresses and map them. So what I do is I look at, and this isn't necessarily, but it just triggered my memory. We look at the map and where are we getting, where aren't we getting? Are there areas where we're not getting a response, and why not? So we will kind of earmark there, because that's important as well. So like you were saying, it's important to make sure that you're reaching
Mhm.
everybody and as many as possible. So we like to map exactly where it's coming from within the town. Because if you're getting one particular group of people, that's great. But you want everybody. And why aren't you getting everybody? What outreach is not happening that, maybe people who aren't able to physically get to a public workshop aren't able to give feedback? Well, how can we reach them? What can we do? Where are they? Whether it be churches, do we show up at church on Sunday and just have a small table, in the vestibule and have a survey, or just have information?
Mhm.
So we do, it's not just blindly throwing out a link and hoping
Yeah.
we're getting information. We are certainly tracking. We're certainly looking for depth. We're looking for a large group, a large different group. So that's where, you want to make sure that you're getting young, old, all demographics, everything. So we do track it. There is, again, I know it sounds like, oh, we're just going to shoot this link out and hope for the best, but we're tracking behind the scenes with that personal information that does get put in there. And that is obviously just used for the survey. Once this is all done, it's all redacted. No one's saving addresses or tracking anybody, but we do really look at what we're doing with the survey.
This is actually why we ended up choosing them, as they had the most comprehensive plan for outreach.
I care a lot about it. I could talk about it all night. I'm going to try not to keep you guys here all night.
So do you have a list of places that you're planning to put it? Do you want us to also provide
I
a
would
list?
love information or ideas from you guys for where you would like physical copies.
Okay.
We do want to aim for as much digital as possible, only because that's easiest just to start getting data.
And I'm even thinking about, even if you
QR
just have,
codes. Yep.
QR codes and maybe just a handful of
paper ones
Yep.
just in case, but
Absolutely.
I mean, some of the places you've already mentioned, obviously town hall, library, the rec center would be great. I think the 50+ center would be great.
Yep.
And then we could give you a list of the churches and then, of course, the high schools.
Yep. Absolutely. Open all, and like I said, it's the same as like with drafting chapters. With the public outreach, you're never going to hurt my feelings. I'm never going to say, actually, you're wrong. Because I don't know. This is your town. So you tell me. So if there are places that maybe we didn't hit, I want to hear that. I want you guys to tell me, hey, you know what? I saw somebody, walking down the street and they hadn't even heard of the survey. That's the last thing I want to hear.
Right.
Everyone should have heard about it. Everyone should have at least seen something. They should have, heard some mumblings, or their neighbor should have said, oh, did you take that survey? Did you tell them, we hate, whatever, the Dollar General, we hate it. Like, whatever it is, you want the word of mouth going. That is the best thing for you. What'd you say?
She can't talk yet. So.
Hey, Dan, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Mhm.
Is there a comprehensive list of all entities that's easy for us to get our hands on, or does the planning commission have to brainstorm said list and design that ourselves?
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to brainstorm on that one and collectively
Okay.
maybe ask our various elected officials, other people in town, chamber, for example, if they want to share their membership list and so on. So yeah, I think we got to build that list. And there has been a suggestion I wanted to bring up about mailing it out also to all the residents, and that may be an option also.
I wasn't sure how
Yeah.
that financially was going to fit with.
You can also, even include a link or just a note in like any newsletters or
That's
something.
what I said. We
And
do have a
QR code as well,
newsletter, so we
QR
could
code.
easily put a
Yes.
QR code in the newsletter.
Or a list of locations as well. And
Right.
if you don't want to use the code, please stop by, the rec center, town
Right.
hall. And
Or
pick up
reach
a
out to
copy.
such and such.
Yep.
I mean, I'd be happy to stick my name on there. I'd go run a hand copy to whoever wants it,
Yeah. And obviously, we're going to make the link live on Monday. We don't need to have, the list Monday. This will be open for 30 days. The sooner we can get that list and get information there, the better. But don't feel like if we don't have that list by Monday, the survey is all lost. It's not. We'll get it out there.
So I'm thinking the easiest way, we create some kind of Google Doc that everybody's shared. Maybe it goes through town hall and everybody that's elected and works. And can we share that? So that at any time I can go in and add my suggestions and then.
Yeah, I was just making some notes and we talked with our communications officer and see
Okay.
what we can construct for the website.
Would that would come out of your office,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Okay,
but even just for getting a list of names and addresses for businesses or establishments, we want to put the QR code and things. That could just be a Google Doc, like.
Or
you're saying.
Yeah.
or
You
a
could have a
Google
column
sheet
on it
and we
that
can
says,
sort it.
surveys dropped off.
Alpha.
Or,
What about voters registration?
yeah. Could be there as well. Anywhere.
How we got a pause on a voters registration list? I think,
I'm envisioning this Google sheet. It's a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Organization name, address, and it can be filtered and sorted and alphabetized, and any one of us can go on at any time. And
Yeah.
add.
yeah, so, sure.
Is that typically how people handle that?
We've never done a sheet listing where we've usually only ever had one or two locations for paper. But there's no reason that we can't have more. I'm all about having.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was thinking paper and everything
Well,
else.
paper, we've done flyers. I thought you were talking about just where we're gonna put paper.
Okay,
But flyers, QR codes, yeah,
All of
we've
it.
kept list of where it is. We typically have a point person for who's gonna be, whether it's, one of you guys on the commission or whoever the business
that's
owner is or whatever, there's a point person that can say, hey, we got a bunch here, you wanna come pick them up?
Mhm.
And they can email me, they can email one of you guys, whatever. But we usually have a point person, and then we usually have, kind of like a, activity log, when was the last time they were picked up, or just
Yeah.
a column that's just kind of like comments.
Mhm.
And it can be, hey, stop by, no surveys have been taken. Okay, why is nobody swinging by this location? Maybe we can move into a different location, or maybe we need to get, a better sign at that location. So it's really just tracking
people.
Mhm.
And I like how you say tracking because a next great thing is when we do QR codes, if we could have a special code for each location where those QR codes are located, like let's say we put something at Oak, maybe like a Oak description on the QR code. So if it's scanned at Oak, we're picking up that okay, 100 persons scanned the QR code at Oak.
Yeah, so if you're
So
getting
so we
better
know
feedback.
we know exactly where those feedback are coming from, and we can keep those accountability alive. Because many times we put those surveys out there, we're insinuating that okay, it's coming from here. But if we have legit data that can tell us where we got our majority from, I think that would be very helpful. Because if we go and show face, or we just go and just be out there or something, we know we're not wasting our time where we're going.
Yeah.
We know it's going to be for a reason because we're having a lot of traction from this location.
Yeah, and that's where it's helpful to have the point person for the location as well. Because just like you said, if there are a lot of people or if there aren't, it's why. Maybe do one of us need to go out and hang out there and whatever it may be. But yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
I
good.
love that idea.
When Jennifer's talking about duplicity, I've got me thinking about some of these questions. Some people come here just to work, some come just for church. Their addresses might be foreign to Snow Hill.
So
Is that categorized separately so that we can see their data
so this
separate from?
this is exported into this little, snazzy report.
Mhm.
I get an Excel export and it gives me every column, every question separate.
Mhm.
So I immediately just sort.
Okay.
If everybody that lives here, great. Everybody that works here but doesn't live here, you're over here.
Mhm.
So I can mix match all of it. So yeah, that's why we put those questions, just because that is important. You only live here. Why do you care what or you only work here? Why do you care what restaurants are here at night? Because you leave when you so it's that kind of stuff. And that's where it gets interesting. Why does this person, would they stay if there were different restaurants after work? Little things like that. So
Okay.
I know I just talked forever on survey.
Ask one more thing, am I asking?
Go ahead.
Is there anything in the plan to do focus groups and that drills down further?
So we typically do like stakeholder interviews,
Uh-huh.
which is similar to focus groups. And if we can, we like to get like groups of stakeholders in the same industry, if that makes sense. So that's typically how we do that. But if what you would like is focus groups, we can do that as well. We've done at workshops, we've had like round robin tables where we can break people into groups. That's much more of a it depends on what kind of workshop you want. We've had kind of like the open air workshop where there are boards and there's interactive boards and there's activities and people can come and do what they want and leave. Or we have ones that are still the boards and the interactive, but a presentation will happen at this time, and then discussion and groups will happen at this time, and anyone interested can stay. So it just depends. And again, this is your outreach and your plan and what you guys want. So as that starts coming to fruition and we start planning things, you guys can let me know. We can do both. We can do one, either, whatever. We've done both successfully. And had great feedback at either option. We do get better attendance when weather is nicer. So I'm trying to hold out as long as I can, but typically I like to get public outreach going sooner than later. So any other survey questions, comments?
I understand that someone was talking to me and said, did you fill out the survey? And this had nothing to do with this survey, it was something else. I said, no, I never got one. Well, I live on the second floor in a office building, and I'm wondering that we have to be sure that businesses and people that are living upstairs get access to these surveys.
Do you get the newsletter? Do you get the town newsletter?
Sometime, but not, I haven't had a town newsletter for her.
Do you guys said flyers, but you know how sometimes businesses will put signage, larger signage in their
Yes.
storefront?
Sometimes.
Is that appropriate for something like this?
Yeah, any advertising, and if they're willing to
Does that
hang up a
satisfy you?
flyer.
Oh, I have a little corner with windows right there.
Yeah.
I
And
could
again,
put something there. I
You know, the
could
Chamber of
even-
Commerce
Mhm.
is a great resource,
Yeah.
so making sure they have that link and a printable flyer that we can send to any business owners,
Mhm.
where they can just print it out, hang it up in the front.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could put the corner of the building downstairs
Mhm.
where the accountant was, the Democrats are coming. But until they get there, that will be open space that could be open a couple hours on the weekends to help people fill out the survey.
Mhm.
Come get your survey, even if we just put a sign in the window.
I mean, Rick, how many thousands of people, is it thousands that enter Snow Hill daily to work? Do you
I don't
know?
know that I've ever seen that.
Oh, yeah, we had, recall up there, I got the information once, but I wrote it down.
Thousands a day come through.
It's quite a bit.
Thousands a day come.
So if we just had signs in storefront windows and signs at the
Yeah.
government center, and then your link went out as step one, that would hit
Yeah.
quite a few people.
Anybody that, I mean, putting a flyer in the front of a business that has a QR code in the
Mhm.
corner
Mm-hmm.
is a dream. If you
Mhm.
can just get business owners to print that, hang it up, anybody can on their way in, way out, going to lunch, you
Mhm.
know, scan that code, click, keep it moving.
Yeah,
So,
I think most of our business owners would be amenable to that.
yeah.
So your plans to get us a link and a QR code,
Oh, yeah. I have the
QR
link
codes are
already.
easy.
and then that'll come to us, and then, I'm thinking like most businesses and most government organizations have their official letterhead. Can any of us take that QR code, copy and paste it on a Word
That's the
document,
beauty of a
scan
QR
me
code.
and win a prize? Like, how do you make sure one of us doesn't go rogue or somebody go rogue with these QR codes?
I mean, I'm
I
gonna
think that'll be
Win
the
a car,
trickier part if
right?
we're wanting to, yeah. Oh, that's attached to your name. If we're trying to have QR codes that are to certain areas or places, that's where it'll get tricky. where you
Well, I
just
think
wanna
what we would do
copy.
is maybe pick 3 or 4 that we want to track.
But yeah, you
Hey,
could
we
do
really
like
want a special QR code
downtown.
for these 4. Are we getting the feedback we wanted?
Mm.
But as far as like, I can't control what business owner is going to be like, oh yeah, just copy my flyer and stick it in yours. There would be no way to
Right.
know.
I would think it would just be
Um,
like business downtown.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
would be
that
like
won't
one
have any
QR
effect on
code.
the data itself. It's still good data, but
Yeah,
I
of
would never
course.
know if it was, here or there
Right.
because it was photocopied. But having that QR code and those flyers in as many places as possible is never bad.
Or if there's a QR code for businesses, QR code
So
separate
we have
for
done
churches.
business surveys
Okay.
separately, and that's something we can start to look at as we get towards economic development. Typically what we like to do is look at the survey results first, the general survey.
Mhm.
And if you don't feel like you got really pointed business, because there is questions, you
Mhm.
guys added questions about business and owning a
Mhm.
business. Do you know about incentives? Do you not? So if you feel like you're not getting that kind of feedback, again, it's an editable, I hate saying that word, editable survey. So we can always edit it and put out another link. I mean,
Okay.
it takes me 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
Put out another link. Hey, business owners, we didn't hear from you. We'd really love your feedback. Take the survey. Boom, here's a QR code. It's a beautiful thing.
Okay.
So, but I do like to wait until we get that initial survey back first. Because you don't want to be hammering people with a ton of different survey options. And then you've got, residents taking a business survey and they're like, I don't even own a business. This is dumb. And they don't take it. So I like to do one at a time. But again, we can certainly do another one that's geared just for business. And we've done that frequently.
So and this is just to make sure I heard you correctly earlier. So you will, somewhere within, the first week or 2, look at the survey results to see if there are areas geographically that
Yeah.
are lacking. And then we can come together and have a strategy to
So,
address those. Okay.
It's open for 30 days.
Mhm.
So I tell myself I'm going to check once a week. I am impatient and nosy, so I typically check at least once a day. So what I'll do is every Friday, I will pull this report and I will distribute it as a PDF to you, and you guys can kind of see where we're at. You guys can see what you're hearing, see what I'm seeing, and I'll give you just some input. Hey, here's the latest and greatest. We're not getting much feedback from this area, or we're not getting much feedback from this demographic or this age group. What are your thoughts? How can we change that? How can we do better? So you'll be tired of seeing my email address, I promise. But it's really important to just not wait till the end.
No,
and
we
look
want to
at it.
have everybody's voice
Yeah.
to the best of our absolute ability.
Yes.
So
So you will hear from me every week with that, and it will look much more exciting than that because that's our test run with a whopping 4 responses.
Right.
So it'll have, everybody's fill-in answers, everybody's responses. So you'll be able to kind of just real quick, and I don't want you guys to focus too much on reading every write-in word for word. I want you guys to look at it every week, look at the age ranges.
right.
Look at, the locations on the map. Okay. We're doing okay. Like, week 1 might not be all that exciting and don't stress too much, but by week 2, that map should look pretty even. The age ranges should start evening out. And we should be getting really broad responses. And if we're not, let's take a minute, figure out why, figure out where we need to put surveys, figure out how we need to reach out to people. Are we posting it on Facebook? Are we putting it on our website? Are we, mentioning it in our newsletter? Are we talking about it to our neighbors? You talk. It's so important. So absolutely, we track it as we go.
So let me ask a question, because with Survey Monkey, they're categorizing for us. Paper copy, are we going to have somebody in your office that's going to embed the paper copies into
We
Survey?
have to, because Survey Monkey won't let an outside user put in more than one survey. That's how they kind of stop people from duplicating answers or things like that. So someone in your office, or whether it be Dan or Rick or whoever, would just scan and email me the responses, and then I give those to my interns. I let them input them for me. So
Okay, great.
yeah.
As far as like a timeline, could the first week, 2/16's the launch, could that be the link, the QR? It goes to the website, the Facebook page, and then we're filling this spreadsheet, filling up where it needs to go that first
Like
week.
QR code, graphics, flyers this week.
Okay.
You will
Okay,
have that
perfect.
before it launches.
Okay.
So that when it launches, you guys can update your website, your social media, all of it. Chamber of Commerce will have, forward it to everybody. I'll create a social media graphic, a website graphic, an email friendly graphic. I give you guys kind of a whole package, and just forward what you need, use what you need, but here's everything you need to push it to everybody that we can push it to.
Okay.
So you'll have all of that before Monday.
And then we meet that following Monday, the 23rd. And I would hope by then we're ready to talk about churches, point of contacts. We're talking
that would be
about
a great kind of
businesses in
deadline.
the school and try
Where's
to
that Google spreadsheet at?
that second week. Like we got to get this out by that.
The pancake supper is the 17th at the Episcopal Church. That's a wonderful time
That is a good.
to
Can
be
you be the
standing there.
POC? Can you be that point of contact to get that there? Okay.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So I've got to do it because it's in my blood to do this to-do list. We got the link, we got the QR code. We need a repository to collect places that we're distributing to. The stakeholder, we got to come back to that conversation again.
Yes.
Soon. Do we want to wait till the 23rd? That would be our next work session. Is that too late to talk? Because we're gonna have data coming in.
So the
We're gonna have
stakeholders
conversations about the
are
data.
not solely just for the survey. So the stakeholders we're going to interview and get feedback from for the plan,
Okay.
for the elements. So we
Oh,
want,
okay.
some
That'll be ongoing.
stakeholders from housing. We want stakeholders in
Okay.
transportation. We want stakeholders in economic development. So we definitely want to start formulating that list. So I
Mhm.
wouldn't be mad if that was an agenda item on the 23rd. We could start getting that process of outreach moving. But we don't need that list for the survey.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Sure.
All right. Anybody else have any other questions about the questionnaire survey? We already approved it last time with the added changes, so thank you for
Yeah, they were
that.
great. Yeah, no problem.
All right.
Colors. Do we have colors?
Say that again?
Colors and design?
Oh, well, that takes us into, for the survey itself.
Uh-huh.
So the survey, it'll be on Survey Monkey, so I don't really have a lot of control over what that's gonna look like. The printable version will have, the Snow Hill logo, but I can send a PDF so that you guys can kind of see it and approve it. you had made a comment about creating something a little more eye-catching. So I'm going to create a cover that we could just put on the cover of it so that it looks a little better sitting on a table. Because I agree, something that kind of looks like this sitting on a table, nobody really wants to pick that up. So I'll create something and send you that as a PDF by the end of the week for any printable
Great, thanks.
that we do. Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Terrific.
Brings us to number C2, review of task 1, development goals and policies, preliminary material previously provided, updated material to be presented. So.
All right. That is this. And this has been on your agenda for a little while. It's supposed to be 26th, and then I guess it was bumped to last week. This is that the workshop materials.
Okay.
I don't know how much you guys did get this or discuss it. We'll let you look at it on your own time. If you didn't, it's okay.
Go ahead.
But what I did was I went through your 2010 plan, and I went to every single section and pulled out the goals that you guys, well, maybe not you specifically, but that Snow Hill had, between transportation, community facilities, land use, sensitive areas. Pulled out all the goals.
Yep.
And what I wanted to do was run through them, and I don't know the time whether you guys want to do this, whether you want to take this home and do it. But ideally, what I would like to do is go through them. And it's kind of an exercise in, does this still matter? Did it happen? Did we accomplish it? Why didn't we? What will we change for the future? So there are a lot, but it is important. And then I did the same thing. There was a strategic revitalization plan. I pulled the priority checklist, the long-term goals, and the short-term, just to kind of get you guys looking at those as well, because those are all goals and objectives and implementation items that were earmarked for the town. So it's important to kind of look where you were, where you hope to be, and we're looking ahead 10 to 20 years. So did we get where we hope to be? If we didn't, why not? Are these goals still important? For example,
And I know Dan had gone through these earlier and highlighted some of the things that he thought would be maybe not aligned or practical.
right. Yeah. And that's exercise.
So-
What still matters, what should matter more, or I mean, even, these, for your 2010 transportation goals and objectives, you had 7 goals and objectives. Maybe there's something that's not listed there that today you guys are like, holy cow, how did we miss that? Or an issue that is, 2010 was, I won't do the math for you, but a long time ago. It doesn't sound that long, but it's a long time ago. Things have changed. You've grown. Transportation in itself has changed. Work has changed. People going to work looks different. How did that change transportation goals? How did that change downtown? How did that change land use? It affects all of it. So it's initially, probably when you guys saw this, you were probably like, why do we care about 2010 goals? But it's important. It's important to look at what was earmarked. Why was it earmarked? Did we get there? Did we not? So it's up to you guys. We can go line for line if you want. I don't know if you guys want to take this, and maybe we can, if you guys can take the time to really look through it and read it and comment on it, and we could revisit it on the 23rd. Whatever you guys want to do, I'm game for whatever. But I don't know.
Well,
I don't know how long you guys like to hang out. I can talk about stuff all day. So
Well, let me, if I could add.
yeah.
Yeah, I think, in my comments back to Nicole, I think what I saw was an overall purpose to create a broad vision statement that would guide kind of the rest of the development of the comprehensive plan, as opposed to try and sift through a very limited number of goals and objectives type statements. Because when I went through the whole plan, there's probably 50 goal statements, policy statements, objective statements. But what you see there is not, I think, in my opinion, a very comprehensive list of what's really in the overall 2010 plan and perhaps in the 2015 plan. So I think Mr. Bear made a point that as you go through each chapter, they'll revisit a lot of those goal statements as it related to the 2010 plan and go back and revisit those. So I think what I heard was that it may not be totally critical to get everything reviewed tonight, but as you move forward, think about what was in the 2010 plan, and then if you want to carry it forward. I think there's some good questions about what was accomplished or not in some of the other documents, but what I saw was that there's many more goal statements and so forth in those plans that could be evaluated as you go through each chapter. So however you want to approach it, it's all up to you, but I just felt there's just a limited number of statements there that may not be comprehensive in its overall assessment of what was in the 2010 plan.
And this is something we can come back to when we get into each section.
Yes.
So the way my brain is working right now is when I went through this, I starred some areas that I had questions, and I had some areas that I had some comments on. Is that more appropriate to do when we get to each section?
We certainly can. Yeah. So with each chapter,
Or
like
chapter?
to have goals and objectives for each chapter. So when we get to the transportation chapter, there's going to be goals and objectives, which is where I pulled this from.
Right.
For your 2010 plan, I went into each chapter and pulled your goals and objectives.
Okay.
So we will do the same
And
with
keep
this.
reviewing.
So the idea was just to start triggering those thoughts, triggering that conversation, think about those goals. And as Dan mentioned, when you start thinking about these goals and objectives and thinking forward, my thought process, I guess, is a little different. Looking at goals and objectives will help you form your vision.
Mhm.
You will start thinking, okay, that's where we were. Where do we want to go? How do we form this vision? So your previous vision statement is up here as
Yeah.
well. So again, is that relevant? Is that what you want? How can we change it? How can we make it appropriate for the next 10 to 20 years? So this was all to just start triggering conversation. I don't think it's ever a bad time to talk about goals and objectives, but it is something that we will revisit with every chapter.
Mhm.
So it's just to get you guys started to think towards each chapter as you're getting these drafts.
Mhm.
Obviously, town profile is not a very exciting chapter in that there are no goals and objectives in town profile. It's more just kind of like, here's where we are, here's who we are. But as we start moving towards land use, housing, transportation, all that, these are really going to come into play. So I think it's important to start thinking
Mhm.
about them.
And let me ask a question also, because under here where it says a vision statement 2010 comprehensive plan, it asks the question, is this vision still accurate and reflect of Snow Hill's goal for the future? I think it's a great question. Now, my next point to that, will the leaders be in the room when we're discussing this vision? Because I think hearing from the mayor, everyone that's in public offices that are pulling together this town and where they're planning on taking the town, I think that buy-in is very important, because if we're going to go strategically, we can't go ahead and say we're going to formulate and say, yes, this is the vision that we want to go with because we stand for this, because yes, we're the committee, we want this. I think buying from everyone for this portion of the vision is going to be very important.
Yes.
So we do have a session that we're going to meet with like our public leaders and everyone that's going to be making this town what it should be.
So historically, yes.
Okay, good.
So it is your homework to create a draft vision and present that to your mayor and your decision makers and get that buy-in. So you guys get the homework of kind of, here's what it was. Here's, which it was great for 2010. There's nothing wrong with this vision, but obviously it's different. Things have changed. So how are we going to change it? We'll change it. We'll update it. And then you guys would present it, or we can present it. We can all present it together, however you want. But yes, 100%. It is so important because you guys can have a vision and that's great. If you're mayor and, your council and don't see the vision, don't agree with the vision, aren't on board with the vision, y'all just wasting your time. So, but it is important because it is everyone's town. So, and we've done and will do, regardless of the draft vision, again, nothing is written in stone. So when we draft it, we're going to come up with a draft. We'll take it to the, everybody get the buy-in. At any of the first few public workshops, one of my favorite exercises is I will ask people to write on a piece of paper one word that describes Snow Hill. And I'll hang it up behind me and it's kind of cool. And then I will create a word cloud for you guys and I'll bring it to the next meeting. And we'll look at that. And then we're going to go back to our vision and we're going to kind of compare that. you know, one word to describe Snow Hill in 10 years. And you will be so surprised at some of the feedback. It is the most, like, I'm such a nerd for public outreach, but it is the most fun, interesting thing to sort of see the feedback. And hear what people are saying and see the words. And so the vision statement is something that will initially be drafted. We will move forward with an approved draft, but we will always revisit it as we go through every chapter.
Do you ever take that word cloud and then pump it through AI to see what it spits out? Not that I support all that, but I'm just curious.
I haven't. I'm not a huge proponent for AI. I see its abilities and I recognize it is a helpful tool, but not with this kind of stuff.
Right.
I don't, but that's a good idea. I certainly can.
Mayor, have you all, the town, done any exercises just informally about where do we want to go? What's our vision? I didn't know if there was a starting point for us.
Yeah, right. We've done some initially, but you know, we can bring that to the table, you know.
That'd be great,
That would
so
be
that we have a
wonderful.
starting
Some of
place.
that input.
Okay. And then would this be something we go to the town meeting and sign up as public comment or put it on an agenda item? I don't know.
Typically do. But
Okay.
in the past with other clients, typically a representative from the commission and one of us would come with you and we would just kind of present, here's the draft, have some open discussion, and they either agree, disagree, and we move forward with, you know, a semi-finalized vision pending the finalization of the plan.
Right.
So is the next meeting that you're having March 3rd? Is that the next mayor and town meeting? Could we get on the agenda
Yes.
that evening? That means we have a month to get this. We have 3 weeks to get that vision drafted.
Work session.
Work session?
Yes.
That's a work session date.
Okay.
That would be good.
Yeah, that would be, yeah.
So if we have, if there's something you all have, maybe Dan can email it to us. We look at it and we work on it
Yeah, maybe squish something together.
for that February 23rd meeting. Then one of us can go with you and present.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That works.
Okay.
We like interesting.
Other than that, I mean, I think everybody wants some think time.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, I would like to just sit down and do the same thing you did and mark some things up. I did read through it the last time, the last meeting, but yeah,
Okay.
I want a little bit more time just to go through it.
The problem I was having reading it in transparency, like you mentioned, like were some of these things actually done? Like, where do I find that information? That's where I was having to struggle, right? Because I'm reading through it and it sounds nice, but if I don't have any data on it, I don't know, like, was it actually done as they
Right.
said they were going to put forward to doing it?
So maybe also, and I'm sorry, I shouldn't interrupt. I'm very sorry for interrupting. If you just note that, and then that's something that we can poke our town colleagues a little bit more to say, hey, you know, go back and was this done or
into the test.
yeah. Poor Dan.
Is that okay, Dan? We volunteered you.
All right.
It's a community effort, don't worry. Somebody in this town will know what has happened.
Okay, well, great.
But I think that's important. We do need to know what's done, and I
Yeah.
certainly don't know everything. I can certainly tell you that number 3 in transportation and goals and objectives has not been done. I tell you that is so not done.
Okay.
But yes, that's sidewalks.
The important part with this too is so that at the end, as we're going through these chapters and we're, you know, as Dan said, we're going to really focus much more on these as we're developing the chapters. But the important thing is if you can identify, you know, your goals and objectives, we really like to do an implementation chapter for you guys, which basically is almost like you could rip it off and there's your CIP. So having that and being able to pair that with funding options,
That's
so like
what's exciting.
sidewalks, like there are bike and sidewalk programs that you could get some funding for. So
Oh, I
like
need
being
that.
able to really identify those in each chapter and then taking each of them and we dump it into the implementation chapter and then being able to say, hey, by the way, here's this, and this. It just helps to kind of.
To me,
make
that's the
this-
most important part of
Yes,
this.
it makes a
process.
living document. It's not just something that you're like, all right, did it. MDP isn't going to bother us for a little bit. We're good. It's something that is workable and usable and is helpful. So that's why these are important.
Yeah.
So it's important just to understand why we're making you do this. This isn't just an exercise in, hey guys, did you get this done? It's important to just earmark moving forward.
And the thing that I saw within this document that I was just a little bit cringy for was nothing in here that screams accountability. What I mean by not screaming accountability, like we see all of these long sentences, 1 through 7, all the way through the document. It doesn't have a possibility of a date that we're going to look to implement it taking place. Like it says, yeah, 10-year plan, but when in the 10 year are we going to look at this? We're going to look at it in the first 3 years, at the back end of the 10-year. Where are we going to put these in structure so that the accountability portion is taken care of? So part of this, why I wanted to know what was done from what was not done, so I can go back and track dates. So when I started putting the dates to see what was the realistic dates that these accountability portions took place, and I do not know where to start. And that's what got me discouraged. And I went and I'm like, babe, I think I'm done for the night.
Yeah.
You know, because I couldn't find anything.
Where do you? So that is the beauty again of the implementation chapter is that we list, each chapter and it'll be the goals that we identified and objectives and the implementation items. There's always an accountability column. Who is in charge of this? Who is championing this? And then we rank them. What is high priority? What is mid and what is low?
Did we
And
have this in the previous plan? I don't think we
I
did.
did not see it.
Yeah.
So you guys will decide what is the time range for high, medium, low. And some of it will depend on funding. Some of it will just depend on what you guys already have going on. It will depend on a lot of different things, but sitting down and creating that chart and giving the accountability and the assignments. And it's not always going to be you. It's not going to, your implementation chapter isn't going to have, sidewalk improvements, Mr. Turnbull. Like, that's not what it's going to say. It's going to say, town of Snow Hill and, SHA. We're going to work with them to figure this out. It'll say, DNR, it'll say whoever the agency or organization is, that will be listed there as well. And then whether you guys, once we're done, want to take that, and we'll give you that in an Excel spreadsheet as well. So if you guys want to take that and make that a living working document for yourselves, do whatever you want. You can add as many columns as you want, drop down boxes, color code it, whatever you want to do. But it is a beautiful working tool for you to take and keep moving with. So I'm a big accountability person. So I totally see what you're saying. And I agree.
Like in grant work, is there a status? Do towns do a status column? Progressing, completed, not yet started? And if they do that, how far into the 10 years do they revisit these goals?
A lot of times people do a 5-year update.
Okay.
Depending on how long they kind of project their plan out for. There's a 5-year update, or they kind of earmark, maybe not necessarily an update, but a 5-year check-in. In 5 years, we'd like to accomplish these. We're going to set this date, and on that date, we're going to stop and say, did we accomplish these? If we didn't, why? What do we want to accomplish in the next 5 years? It's up to you. I mean, there's no set rule.
I mean, I think that would be good to have some sort of 5-year thing, just in transparency and to show that we are moving forward and taking the comments and the public, seriously.
Yeah. Or I've seen towns just do monitoring committees for the different goals and objectives. So there will be a monitoring committee for the transportation goals, and they'll report back to you guys, whoever that committee may be. It could be, community stakeholders. It could be business owners. You guys could have whoever your rep is for SHA that you typically work with or reach out to. You would meet with them, whether it be quarterly and just check in, hey, here's the goals that we were looking to accomplish in the next 5 years. How are we going to do that? How can you help us? What can we do? Where do we start? It's never a bad thing to ask that question. I ask that question all the time, every day. Help me. Where can I start? So it's up to you guys how you want to take that and take these and implement and move forward with the plan. We just help you put it together. There's no rules. I mean, there's some rules, you got to do it, within, most guidelines, but how you do it and how you monitor and how you implement is 100% up to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll read over this, be thinking about our vision.
For sure.
That brings us to C3, review and comment of introduction, chapter 1. Did we already do that? Or?
Yeah, I mean, kind of. I would just, if you guys want to, over the next week, I guess Dan had emailed that to you guys. Dan has already given me some comments, so I will address those. This, I believe, is the combined. So we have on the schedule, there's an introduction and a town profile.
Yes.
I combined it because I just felt like it felt a little meatier that way. If you guys would like them to remain two separate, I can split it apart again. It just seemed like a lot of the information played off each other. So it seemed okay. But again, 100% your plan, 100% your input. The vision statement in there is draft. It's just placeholder. It's just something to put there so you guys see what's going to be in there. And again, this chapter will change as we get some public feedback going, as we get some workshops going. We're going to kind of update this chapter and say, hey, as we were doing this plan, we did X, Y, Z. And it'll just touch on things lightly. It's not going to go into depth. This is just an introduction. But flip through it, give me every and any comment that comes to mind, any critique, anything, and we'll go back, and Michael and I will work with the team and make any changes you have.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
All right. That brings us to confirming our next meeting date. It is February 23rd. It's already been put out there on the project schedule, so we don't need to take any action unless we're changing that. But everybody good with the 23rd, Monday? Yep. 2 weeks. All right, great. All right. Our last item is comments from the public. We've got a sign-in sheet in the back that's coming up. Thank you. And our first
is Nicole Wiley.
That's me. Sorry, I signed in because I thought it was a sign-in sheet. I meant to say that. Sorry. I just saw sign in and I was like,
well, you have talked.
I talked.
You're
Nobody wants to hear me talk anymore.
You're way past your 2 minutes. Okay, Chase Phillips.
Thank you. Do you need my address?
If you could come forward, this is our
we have this fancy
podium for now.
Yeah, and you're still being
So
recorded.
you're being recorded here.
Oh, we have a recorder.
Just state your name and address.
Yep, we have okay.
And do we have a timer?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So Chase Phillips, 116 Ironshire Street. I want to thank everyone for the attention to the survey because I had sent an email about public comment, and I'm very adamant about public comment, and I think the attention being brought to the survey is phenomenal. Regarding the survey for the high school students, I think it would be interesting to take into account how the distinction will be made. Like if it's the entire school, I would be hesitant as to whether that would skew the data. But if there's a way, I think it was mentioned earlier, where you can keep that as a separate column, maybe it would be great to do the whole school. If not, if it's going to be lumped in with other residents or just in the default category, it might be a good idea just to do the seniors, just so the data isn't skewed depending on how you work that out. I do like the idea of the primary means being digital with a QR code and a link, but also I really like all of the plans so far with getting the paper copies out to churches, businesses, having it at town hall, etc. So I think that's a good setup. or a good structure. And yeah, I'll say this about the vision, because I studied urban planning. That's what my degree is in. And actually, the State Department of Planning recognizes this board as the primary board to form the vision. So you want it to be consistent. You don't want to prop something up that's like not consistent. Like, and that's addressed, I think, in the work session that you mentioned. But don't be afraid to get creative with the vision, and then it'll be consistent. I'm sure it will be consistent with the mayor and council. But yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, our next person is Diana Nolte.
Hello.
Hello.
Diana
How are you?
Nolte, 112 West Green Street, Snow Hill. For the sake of this conversation anyway, I'm here representing Downtown Snow Hill Inc., which is our Main Street organization. And we're due to survey for community needs this year. So I'm probably what you heard about and your concern about survey exhaustion. And that's why I'm here, to make sure that doesn't happen, at least not from us, and that we don't duplicate any effort. We are very concerned, like a lot of other people, about making sure that everyone's heard and that our plan is inclusive of all. And that's part of our vision, mission, goals, strategies, and plans for the Downtown Main Street organization too. We're a 501c3 on the Main Street, Maryland community group.
I would love to have you.
So we talked about how can we make sure we get all the data from everybody we need. And I'm glad to hear about the addresses. This was one of the things we came up with that helps us and would help you. They're all the same. They're in black and white for the printed, but they could be in color. I left off one number, but it's asking people what commercial area they live closest to. And if they shop in Snow Hill, what commercial area they primarily shop in. The Main Street Maryland organization has added a third tier called Connected. We've always been restricted to not go outside of the boundaries of the B1 commercial district. But now there will be grant availability for what they call a connected tier, which can be Western, Eastern, the other commercial districts too, but there's a lot of work to it. So it's would be very valuable to know where our citizens are looking for and what they're looking for commercially. Just to put a plug in for the 23rd, if you want free food, our annual meeting is from 5 to 7 at Elliott's Tavern on the 23rd. And at 6 o'clock, we will be giving our annual report, everything we accomplished the previous year, and all our strategies and plans for this year. And we do this every year.
And where is this?
It's going to be at Elliott's Tavern.
Right.
He closes on Monday nights for us. So that's
5 to 7 prior to
5 to
this
7,
meeting.
5 to 6 is the social eating. And then at 6 o'clock, and you guys don't start till 7.
Right. So you're going to go over that some reports.
At 6 o'clock, we'll have a business meeting and we'll review
that
all
would be
our
good.
accomplishments for
Okay.
the last year
Okay.
and our plans for
Time
this
is
coming year.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks.
Ellen.
Yeah, that does go by fast. Okay, our last person on here is Edward Lee. You want to come up?
Mr. Chairman and board members.
I'm sorry.
Edward Lee, my address is 205 Collins Street, Snow Hill. I first want to commend you. I'm excited about what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing. You all doing a great job. Fantastic. I have 2 recommendations for consideration to look at. And that is here on this page, it says the comprehensive planning history. And I would respectfully ask that you look at the data that's here because it's not accurate. And I don't want to go into that right now, but I would say that it says in here, the Riverfront Development Project, and then it speaks about preparing and developing the master plan for the downtown riverfront. So the picture of the redevelopment project here, and here nowhere does it mention uptown. And that's a Snow Hill problem, uptown, downtown. Diane just addressed some of it. So I think that you've got to be cognizant of it as you're putting that out here. Okay. The other thing that I would ask you to consider, please, is the mailing to mail this out. I would strongly encourage you to do that. In 2010, we had a big discussion about it. Now, technology has moved since 2010, and I like what I hear. But guess what? I don't do QR codes. Okay, I don't do all that. I just do not do it. And the thing that I want you to you're aware of, the people that you really want to reach, my age and around, they don't even come downtown. So they don't go to Oaks, and what have you. So please consider those two things, and I'd like to talk to you about it in some detail if you would allow me. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Select.
And then with any public meeting, when there isn't a lot of people signed up, is there anybody else that would like to speak? Okay. All right. Well, thank you all for that. There's nothing left for this evening other than I need a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn this.
Second.
One second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Dan, bye.
Thanks, Dan. See you in a couple weeks.
See you next week,
Appreciate it.
or 2 weeks.
We don't have a stamp for Snow Hill, but since it was submitted to Elfin Council, we can exhibit to add with the formal packet, so that way it becomes for the record.
Good job.
All right.
Those two-
Good. I'm good.
Those two need to figure out how we're gonna find that information.
Yeah. So do you all want, if we I need data on this. Do we want to create a Google form
Yeah, I can do
that we
that.
share amongst ourselves? Okay, you can have. That's a great.
Yeah.
I need data.
Yeah.
That's good.